Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be filming my June reading wrap up. I'm so excited. I read 8 books this month and I feel like that's like a pretty good month. I was super busy. I went on 2 different vacations. I was gone 2 weekends, so it just was a crazy month, but I read some really good books. I loved like pretty much all of them, so I'm really excited to talk about them. I have a lot of good recommendations and some really good like summer reads if you're looking for just like an easy summer rom-com-y type book. So yeah, let's just jump right into it. First book I read this month is When in Rome by Sarah Adams. So this is about Amelia, and she's a famous pop star, and she decides that she needs a break from everything. She's about to go on this like really long tour, so she gets in her car and she drives to Rome, Kentucky, because her favorite movie is Roman Holiday with Audrey Hepburn in it, and in there Audrey goes to Rome and she's like, I can't go to actual Rome, but she goes to the closest one, which is in Kentucky. There her car breaks down in Noah's front lawn, and basically she's like doesn't want to get out of her car. She's like, this guy's gonna murder me. He finally convinces her and is like, look, I'm like a normal guy, but it's like late at night. She's supposed to stay in the bed and breakfast, but it's closed at this point, so he's like, you can stay with me. The next day they go to the bed and breakfast and the woman says that there is no room, and that's Miss Mabel, and you will come to love Mabel in this book, and then also Practice Makes Perfect, which is like the companion novel. Oh my god, I just love her. She's literally the perfect character. But Mabel kind of is like has a little hand in things and wants Noah to get over his ex, and so she's like, nope, no rooms. So Amelia's forced to stay with him. He's super grumpy character. He does not want her there. He's completely closed off from relationships, all that kind of stuff. Amelia's like a total sunshine character. Feelings start to form between them, obviously, but yeah, it's really cute. I gave it 3.5 stars, which I honestly feel like I should have given it 4. I feel like 3.5 is harsh. I think the reason I gave it 3.5 is because within like a couple days of reading it, I literally forgot what happened. Like, I remembered the gist, but there weren't a lot of things that like stuck out to me. I liked the characters, but I wasn't like obsessed with them. So I don't know, the story's really cute. I would definitely recommend it. But yeah, I don't know, I just like wasn't like obsessed with it, you know? Next, I read Practice Makes Perfect by Sarah Adams, which is the second book in this series, and this is about Noah from the first book, his little sister, and the male character is the bodyguard of Amelia from When in Rome. So Annie's the youngest of all her siblings. She's always seen as like the really sweet girl. She's like total sunshine character, never really been in like a serious relationship. She doesn't really know how to date. She goes on dates and she's super awkward. She convinces Will to help her learn how to date. Will's kind of like a bad boy character, so it's a little bit of like bad boy good girl vibes. He's like serial dater, always going on dates, never like committing to anything, and he like doesn't want to be in a real relationship. So he agrees and he helps Annie, and their relationship is just so freaking cute. It's dual POV, so you get his point of view, and I love that. Like, I love dual POV anyways, but something about his character, just everything he says about her, he respects her, he loves her, he doesn't want her to change. Like, she's a little bit more awkward, she's shy, she's quiet, but he's like, he doesn't want her to change. He like helps her build confidence, and I just literally love them so much. I liked this one more than When in Rome, which I think I heard a lot of people like vice versa. They liked When in Rome better, which is interesting. But both these books are really good. Totally recommend them. And then I gave this one 4 stars. Next, I read The Last Thing He Told Me by Laura Dave. And this book I gave 3.75 stars, which I know is a very like specific rating, but honestly that's how I felt about it. This month I really started to get more into like thriller mysteries, and I really did enjoy this book. It wasn't like my absolute favorite, but I did enjoy it. This is about Hannah. She's at home one day and she gets a note delivered to her, and all it says is protect her. And she knows this is from her husband, and she knows that he is referring to his daughter Bailey. So she's Bailey's stepmom, and they don't really get along. Bailey's like 16 or something. She's kind of like this angsty teenager, doesn't like her stepmom, whatever. But Owen has now gone missing, and now they have to figure out where he's at, what's going on, why he's missing, what the note protect her means, like why does she need to be protected, all this stuff. I can't really say more than that without like giving away what it's about. I will say like the twists and turns were good. And I feel like they kept me on my toes. A lot of it has to do with like money and like like tax stuff and just that kind of like money stuff, you know. So some of it I didn't like understand, and I think that's kind of where my like 3.75 stars comes in, because it was really good, and the mystery part of it and like you're trying to figure out what happened was really good. But there were parts where I was just like, they talked too much about like the politics of it all, and I was just kind of like, okay, I don't need all this, you know. But otherwise it was really good and I did enjoy it. Next, I read The Perfect Marriage by Geneva Rose, and I read this one on my Kindle, well, on the Kindle app on my phone, which it's on Kindle Unlimited if you have that. I really, really, really enjoyed this book. I gave this one 4 stars. It's about Sarah, and she's a defense attorney, and she finds out her husband is being tried for the murder of his mistress. So he comes home one night, the next morning they wake up and they find out that his mistress has been murdered in their lake house. So she decides that she's gonna stand by her husband, defend him, all that kind of stuff. And then you are like trying to figure out who actually murdered the mistress. Like crazy stuff happens. There's so many twists and turns. There were so many times that I thought it was one person, I was convinced it was one person, then it was someone else. And I just like, literally, this book was so good. I binged this book. Like I'm pretty sure I read it in like a day, like 24 hours. I literally could not put it down. I needed to know what happened. It was really, really good. If you like mysteries, or even if you're not someone that has gotten into mysteries or but wants to get into them, I really recommend this one. The writing was super easy, it flowed super well, and it was super fast paced, and just like you wanted to know so badly what happened. 75 to like 80% of the way in, I predicted the ending, kind of. Like I predicted part of it, but then there was a whole other part that's like, if you've read this book, it's on like the last page, that reveal, and I literally gasped out loud. Like it was actually crazy. I did not see that coming. It was so, so good. Highly recommend it. Next, I read The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. Everyone I know gave this book 5 stars, and I wanted to give this book 5 stars so bad. I don't know what my upstairs neighbors are doing, so I apologize if you can hear that. It sounds like they're like drilling into the floor. Whatever, we're just gonna keep moving past that. I'm sorry if you can hear that. Like I was saying, everyone I know has given this 5 stars, and I wanted to like it like that so bad. I wanted to get that 5-star feeling, but I just didn't. I ended up giving it 4 stars, which is still really good. I did still really enjoy it, like so much. This is about Olive, and she's a PhD student in science of some sort. I don't remember. But she's trying to convince her best friend that she doesn't like this guy anymore, because they'd like gone on a couple dates, didn't work out, and now her best friend really likes him, but she's like, girl code, not gonna date him. And Olive's like, no, I promise, like you can date him, I like don't care, whatever. So to convince her friend that she is over him, she kisses the closest person she sees, which is Adam. He's a professor at the university, and he's known as like the really grumpy professor. Like, what is going on up there? He's known as the really grumpy professor, and like everyone is scared of him. He literally makes people cry, like all that kind of stuff. And he kisses him. So it's like kind of awkward, but then they decide that they're gonna go into a fake dating relationship, because not only is it gonna benefit Olive, so her friend thinks that she's over this guy, but then there's also something going on with him that he kind of needs to enter this like fake dating relationship as well. Their chemistry is literally so cute and so good. He's total grumpy character, but Olive kind of sees right through it, and she like realizes that he's actually a really good guy, and like they really like each other a lot, and they get along really well. And it's kind of one of those things where it's like, hate everyone in the world but you. I don't feel like I've read a lot of like books that have that trope, but I really liked it in this one. I love a fake dating trope, as we know, and I really did like this book. I just, for some reason, didn't get that 5-star feeling. I think what it is because this was written in 3rd person, I feel like I didn't get as connected to the characters. I love when characters are written in 1st person or dual POV, because then I feel like I understand like the characters and their exact thoughts so much more, and I feel so much more connected to them because of that. So if this had been written in like dual POV, I think it would have been a 5-star for me. Next, I read another thriller mystery, and this was Never Lie by Frida McFadden. I gave this one 4 stars. I really liked this book. This is kind of like a psychological thriller with obviously a bit of mystery in it as well. You think you know what's going on, and then things keep changing, and literally up until the end, or when the reveal is, I did not like expect that. Maybe that's just me. I'm sure some people probably picked up on it, but for me, I literally was like shook. I remember reading it. I was reading it on my phone on the train, and I literally gasped out loud. Like I was like, oh my God, people probably think I'm insane, but I just did not see it coming. This is about Ethan and Trisha, and they are going to look at a house, and they drive out there and it's snowing and they lose reception and the realtor doesn't show up. So they find a key and they end up just going into the house. They're like, we're gonna stay the night. We're completely snowed in. We have no way to get home. We'll just stay here for the night. So then a lot of weird things start happening. Like Trisha starts hearing things, seeing things move, all this stuff. Ethan's like, no, nothing to worry about. While he's off doing something else, I don't remember, she finds this like secret room and it's all of these tapes, and they find out that the owner of this home was this famous psychiatrist that passed away, and she has all the tapes that she recorded from all of her sessions with her clients, and Trisha starts listening to them and things start getting pieced together and you start figuring things out, and the connections that are made are literally so crazy. I did not see it coming. Like I said, I literally gasped. It was so good. I will say I was reading it at night and I was like a little bit spooked because the parts where she's like hearing things in the house and seeing things moving, like I was reading it at night alone and I was like kind of freaking out. But it was so good. I like highly recommend this one again if you're wanting to get into thrillers. I've heard so many good things about Freida McFadden's books. This is the first one of hers I've read, but I really want to read more from her now because I was like eating her writing up. This is another book where I binged it because I just needed to know what happened. Next, I read Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. I'm obsessed with this book. I give this book 5 stars, first of all. So I think that tells you literally how much I loved this. This is just a perfect summer read. Like if you need an easy, quick summer read this book. I will say though, I like started tearing up at the end. It is not like all sunshine and rainbows, let me tell you that, okay? There's some deep parts, but it is so good. Percy gets a call from Charlie, and he's one of the brothers that she grew up next to. Her family had a lake house, and Charlie and Sam, who are brothers, they lived in the house next door, and they lived there full time. She only came for the summers, and so she would come every summer, and they all became really close. It's past and present, so you get the past point of view of every summer leading up. So it was like 14 summers ago, 12 summers ago, 10 summers ago, so on and so forth. And then in the present timeline, you get Percy coming back to the small town after not being there for 12 years. And you find out that her and Sam and Charlie have not spoken in years. You know that her and Sam dated when they were younger, but you don't know why they broke up or what happened between them. So you're kind of getting this like present timeline of her coming back for Sam and Charlie's mom's funeral, and then the past timeline figuring out how they all met, how they all became friends, how her and Sam started dating, all that kind of stuff. And then of course you figure out what happened between them. If you read Love in Other Words, it's like pretty similar plot line, I will say, but obviously the reason that they're no longer together is different, and a lot of different things that happen, but it's that similar trope of like childhood friends to lovers, then to enemies, and then back to lovers again. But it's just so good. I didn't like the reason that they stopped talking, but I still thought it was like just such a good book. Childhood them is literally the cutest thing. Like I wish I would have had that growing up. I just wish I had a childhood friends to lover scenario in my life is basically what I'm saying. But I loved this book. Please read it. I read it by the pool and my front pages are like all crinkled and kind of ruined, but it's whatever. Also, there's so many good quotes in here and there's so many good Taylor references in here as well. So if you're a Swiftie, lots of good references. Lastly, I read Beach Read by Emily Henry. This is actually my second time reading this. The first time I read this book was like 2 summers ago, I think. And I don't know why, but after reading Happy Place in May, I just felt like I wanted to read Emily Henry books again. And so I decided that I'm gonna maybe like reread her books in the summer. Just something about her books in the summertime just feels perfect. So I'm like, maybe I'll make it a little tradition that I reread her books every summer. But Beach Read obviously is such a popular book. If you haven't heard of this, if you haven't read this, I don't know what you're doing with your life. I'm sure you've heard about this book a million times. I won't give a huge synopsis, but basically it's about January and Augustus. And January moves to this beach house that used to be her dad's, and she's there trying to finish her book. She's an author, and next door is Augustus Everett, who was her college rival and is also an author. The two of them are kind of like struggling to write. Right now, they're both kind of in like writer's blocks, and since they write very different genres, January writes like contemporary romance books and Gus writes more like literary fiction type books. So they decide that they're gonna swap genres and they're gonna take each other on adventures to learn how to write each other's genres of books. And it's just so cute. They both have a lot of like family stuff going on and just personal issues. And it kind of starts out as them being like enemies, but they quickly obviously form this like friendship and then start to catch feelings. And I just love this book so much. I love Emily Henry's writing. She just knows how to build these characters to where they literally feel like real people. Like you feel like you know this person. I just love this book so much. I literally wish I could have reread this for the first time again. Like, because even though it had been 2 years and there were some things I like forgot, once I started reading, I was like, oh yeah, I remember that happened. I remember that happened. And I wish that I got that feeling of reading this for the first time, because I remember I literally read this in an entire day on the beach. The first time I read this, I could not put it down, and I was just so obsessed. If you haven't read this book yet, I don't know what you're doing. You need to pick it up and read it right now. It is just the perfect summer read. Okay, so that is all for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Again, I apologize for whatever is going on with that noise upstairs. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.